What's happening? What's happening, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode. It's the luckiest one in the building. All right, as y'all can see by the title, y'all know what we're getting into, and y'all know what we're picking up. We talking about Pisces in the 11th house. Shout out to all my Taurus risers in the building. Woo, 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 woo. All right. I don't know what that's a homie sound. That sound I just made, the woo woo, that ain't got nothing to do with Taurus. All right. Just in case my Taurus is like, is that a bull? Do bulls make that sound? All right. That's the little homie call right there. Little whoa, whoa. All right. Shout out to all my Taurus risings. However, Patreon services are rebooted and available for you guys to tap into for y'all that want to dive more into the astro world. All right. You want to get more of this substance up in your life. That might be a place where you want to go. Booking services are now back available. All right. I missed you guys, but it's time to pick some things up, get some momentum rolling back over here, roll into 2025. And I want to do that by closing out the signs through the houses series. So we picking up with Pisces in the 11th house, Taurus risings. Let's go. Let's get right into it. All right. Off rip, this placement has a mystical presence to it. Off rip, the 11th house is already has a mystical presence itself. All right. But when we get a double dose of a spiritually inclined archetype in this area, that things start getting a little crazy here. All right. So we already know the 11th house area of our life: air house, social house, relationship house. We're dealing with interacting with unknown faces and places, events, arenas. Okay. When we're just out in the world, enterprising, networking, we're in the 11th house. We know the 11th house has an influence of technology, how we communicate, interact, and network through technology, how we're able to spew out our thoughts, rhetoric, and ideologies through technology. So shout out to all the Aquarius 11th house dominants in the building for having a little knack, a little intuition for reading trends, patterns, and whatnot in the ways of the world, how the world's curating different things based off technology. All right, understand that. You got them 11th house placements. You got good Uranus aspects to the sun and moon. All right, you got good Uranus aspects to your Mercury, because Mercury starts to get us to dealing with technology to a degree. You got anything that you like. You into crypto, you into any forms of different sciences. You need to take that somewhere. You need to continue to see value in that and invest in that in the ways that you do. Now, but in general, we're talking about that's that 11th house presence, right? Dealing with the unknown, spiritual inclination. So we have this balance of these themes, I should say, of interacting out in the world. And we also have the spiritual inclination that comes with the 11th house. When we talk about extraterrestrial, what's unknown, different forms of spirituality, mysticism, all right, different ideologies, different groups, because we know 11th house dealing with groupings. So we not only do we have the business groupings, we have the intellectual groupings, we have the spiritual groupings, we got the exiled groupings, so we got the sovereignty, the sovereign nation over here. So that's what we tapping into when we start understanding how there's all different type of partnerships and organizations and groups with different, causes and values in the world. When we start to understand, things are more expanded than our third house and what we're familiar with. So, but then we throw Pisces in here, mutable water, ruled by Jupiter. All right, okay. Now we already know Pisces is associated, with our imaginations, our subconscious, our ability to connect, tap into our subconscious by digesting our dreams, our imagination, trying to make that connection between the astral realm. When I say subconscious, that is incorporating the astral realm and dreams. That's incorporating all of that. All right. But basically, the 12th house has a lot to do with how we find these connections. Okay, when we talk about our dream, we talk about our imagination, the things that we're putting faith and belief into. When we're talking about being separated from reality in different situations physically, but that's all stemming from a frequency vibration. Whatever happens as above, so below manifests in the physical reality. So in that sense, that's another way of just showing you how the 12th house gives us that perspective, right? How we're able to usher things out from our subconscious. So you put, educational, seeking, intuitive, creative, dreamy Pisces here. Let's talk about openness, how open Pisces is. Take that into consideration. Pisces' openness to want to connect, which can lead to, being gullible, which can lead to passiveness, which can lead to being lackadaisical or lacking discernment, building connections out in the world, 11th house. So off rip, I want to open this up by saying you need to have or will learn to, all my Taurus risings out here, or you may be an Aries or maybe an Aries or Taurus. Boom, boom, boom. You may be an Aries rising, or you may be a Gemini rising. Excuse me, y'all, because I'm thinking about Pisces like it's next to Taurus. Maybe an Aries or Gemini rising, but depending on how your chart may be structured through intercepted signs. All right, but mostly, especially if we're going off equal signs, how equal houses in general, we're dealing with whole signs. We're dealing with Taurus rising. Now, regardless of where did we leave off at? So I want to start off by saying you will learn to exercise discernment with that dreamy, delusional type energy in the 11th house when you're interacting with others out in the world. Now, we know this series is helping us to understand how the first house connecting to the 11th house creates opportunities in our life. The more we can take our first house, our personal expression aspirations, out into the 11th house, out into the world, we're naturally going to create opportunities, whether it's, finding partnerships, being able to take the things we want to personally build and find the, harmonious counterparts to help put that together. But when we talk about Pisces here, there's always going to need to be a level of discernment when we're in unfamiliar environments, which that's what the 11th house is. But when we have Pisces here, you have to take that openness into consideration, because coming from Jupiter influences, I'm a sun in the 9th house conjunct Jupiter. So when I talk about Jupiter influences, especially even though I don't have Sagittarius Pisces placements besides like my North Node and Sag, I know what I'm talking about when it comes into gassing things up. The Jupiter signs being able to gas things up and getting gassed. So Pisces in 11th house Taurus rising has to make sure how much value they place into what is, expressed to them, told to them, encouraged to them in that 11th house. Because guess what? A mother shut your mouth will sell you a dream here. A nigga will sell your ass a dream here. Okay? Now, Taurus placements are sturdy, but this place will challenge that from time to time. Now we got Taurus and Pisces. This is a sextile. This is all first 11th house placements are going to harmonize with each other, right? So Taurus supports Pisces by giving more structure and stability to the imagination, the dream, what's not yet molded in reality. Pisces helps Taurus, to be able to push the sense of being so fixated by taking more risk a little bit, with the sense of having faith and belief of what hasn't manifested yet, what Taurus can't, see practically, what Taurus can't put his hands on, because it's earth-like. Earth signs have to sometimes, not saying earth signs don't, excuse me guys, sorry. Got the glass bottle of water on deck, man. All right, once you get some of this, you can't go back. You can't go back, family. I'm telling you. But Pisces encourages Taurus to be able to play with and observe what they can't see, what hasn't manifested in real time yet. So, not saying the earth signs don't play with the faith and belief frequency vibration, but the earth signs do need to learn how to deal with it. And Jupiter is a detriment in Capricorn. Not even a detriment. It's in its fall state in Capricorn, and then Jupiter is in detriment in Virgo. So that just lets you know that Jupiter struggles being in two of the earth signs. All right. So, or is that somewhat of a debilitation being in two of the earth signs? Just to bring that concept into more of a clear state for y'all. So if we already know Taurus and Pisces have this relationship supporting each other, then that shows you Taurus rising is going to get into that 11th house, and there will be positive examples of people encouraging this the positive frequency vibration of Pisces 11th house. Like, damn, Taurus rising, you got all that personal planning and structure going in the first house. So how you want to do something, I see how much value you got into it. You need to value that some more. Remember, guys, the chart is ruled by Venus. The chart is ruled by Venus. the Taurus and Pisces connection is special. Taurus ruled by Venus. So if your Taurus rising, this is your chart ruler. Pisces, Venus exalted in Pisces. So when we talk about this state of value pouring into encouragement, you're going to find these connections here. You're going to find these groups. And Taurus is known to be loyal and tight-knitted when it comes into what it's already built a connection or feel like it's planted a seed in. So, Taurus will hone these connections in, but you just want to make sure you don't miss these opportunities of, really deciphering who's really who values something you want to build a structure personally as much as you do, Taurus. All right, or who just may be talking fluff, gassing things up. Over time you learn. All right, but that's one of the main things we need to get out the way about this placement. Okay, now first of all, I should have opened this up talking about the ruler like I usually do. So we got Pisces in the 11th house. So the ruler is Jupiter. So wherever Jupiter is at in the chart, whatever house you have Jupiter in, you need to make sure. Okay, and just in case anybody's like, "Yo, Boro, you got some pep in your step." I'm not gonna lie, this Celsius right here, y'all. I'm not even getting no promo. I ain't getting paid for this. What am I doing? This is my cat placement's kicking in right now. This is my cat placement. I don't even think I can finish that promo. That was enough. That was enough. If you caught it, you caught it. But that's been my pep in my step as of recently. I had to lay off the coffee, y'all. That's getting it done. All right. That's my baby right there right now. Next. All right. Enough promo. I ain't getting paid for that. So when whatever house Jupiter is in, guys, you Jupiter expansion through knowledge and wisdom developed through experiences, right? It's going to create a lot of that activity here. So anything that you're learning in that house with Jupiter here, that is something that can create opportunities if you have an incentive or you're intentional about connecting that into the 11th house through however way you connect that out into the world. Now, Jupiter in the 6th house, you're studious in learning and going through experiences about things dealing with help in some type of way, regiment, organizing, structuring things, accounting, finances. I don't give a damn. Connect that out into the 11th house and get some expansion up in your life. All right. You got Jupiter in the 5th house. You studious, got some knowledge, wisdom built up from experiences dealing with some type of creative archetype in your life. Push that out in the 11th house. You got Jupiter in the 8th house. You got some experiences understanding how to uplift things that was once not uplifted and it was in a dark state. It was in a suppressed state. All right. It was in a traumatic state. It was in a fragile, hurt state. And you got it to get confidence, grow, rebirth, transform. Push that out into the 11th house. So this is how you work with your rulers in general. You can do that for every house. We're going to keep emphasizing rulers to the day I die, so we all understand in the astro community how significant rulers are. All right, when you really get into understanding how to take astrology to another level and get more intentional and pinpointed about how you want to craft things in certain areas of your life, because you already have certain things mapped out for you, but then to a degree we have to be the one to give that some breath. All right, give certain things life. So when we looking at and if that's going to take anybody into a conversation about fate, what's fate and how much free will we have, we're always going to be equipped with tools and experience. We're always going to be equipped with tools and experience. So it's up to us to find the awareness to understand the value or significance in the tool and navigate the experience with it. If not, we're just going to move through the experience with a percentage of awareness that we're missing, And as that grows, the more we understand that we can impose ourselves on reality more than we think, more than we are programmed to see. Anyways, not to get too deep into that, but when we looking at the ruler of Jupiter, that's what you want to tap into. Let that be connected. With Pisces in the 11th house, people are going to pick up a Jupiter-like aura from you. What does that mean? They're going to pick up an influence of understanding that you can, in some type of way, be insightful, possibly give some type of guidance, intellectual, spiritual guidance, or a combination of the two. To the collective, to a group in a needed way. Big group, small group, but you're going to catch that type of influence from time to time here, especially if you have planets in Pisces, if you have planets here, all right? Or if you even have planets here and then they're making great contact with your sun and your moon or whatnot. But when we're looking at the ruler, yeah, that's enough for Jupiter there, okay? So off the rip, this placement has a strong mystical presence to it, both spiritually inclined when referring to that esoteric, what's beyond supernatural, extraterrestrial. Will learn to have discernment, picking who to associate with. Why? Because motherfuckers sell dreams here. All right. Now, just to cap off that, people selling dreams. What's the home planet here? Saturn, Uranus. So when we're talking about gaining power through, relationships, when we talk about the essence of transactionality, all right, that I know that ain't a word, but that's the way a pastor would stretch a word right there. Like, pastor, that ain't no word now. The essence of the transactionality in the 11th house, family. You got to be careful for those that just want you in a transactional way, family. You hear what I'm saying? All right, now. Lord, 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 my God is a good God. Because when I get up here and I get his word, I know my people receive it the way you gave me the word. The way I received the word from you, they received it the same way. All right, we're all in alignment here, family. I proceed, get back to it. As I was saying, guys, back to the transactionality. If we know this house has a Saturn presence, then you add this dreaminess of Jupiter here alongside Pisces, the archetype in this whole, yeah, don't think people won't sell a dream to you to benefit off you, to build off you, to exploit you, to build something off your back here. All right. So you got to take that into account with that type of energy all in a mix in this placement. Now, because Jupiter rules here, you can't have access to people who are more knowledgeable or experienced than you in a particular field. This is to be at your advantage when enterprising in the world, being able to have smart people, potentially spiritually inclined folks gravitate towards you or your potential. I'm gonna come back to that, aka accessing good teachers in your network space is likely. So having this Jupiter Pisces like influence here in general, being able to make connections, attract people who are more knowledgeable in things that you do. You need to understand the more intentional you are about getting into a certain space or getting around certain people in a field. You can attract that. All right. So you want to hone intention on that in general. Understand you already got somewhat of an access to great teachers. All right. And that should always be used to advantage. You should always want to be in rooms with people that smart as you and vibrating on a frequency on your level, in a level of seeking growth in their ability to vibrate higher, right? So always view this as an advantage. Remain a student in these, different matters. Stubborn, stubborn Taurus rising. All right. Now when I'm talking about potential, back to that potential part, right? You can manifest situations where people gravitate towards seeing the potential in you. Pisces deal with a lot of potential energy, right? What can be, what we're imagining, what we're aspiring to be or see or do. So when we're looking at, the 11th house dealing with strangers, foreign areas, events, people you don't know, right? You always have to take heed when somebody that you don't have no connection or familiarity with in a first instant situation is able to depict some value in you and wants to encourage you. You don't take moments like that for granted when you have these type of energies that work in the 11th house. You know, I've seen time and time again people that have Jupiter influences around their 11th house come into situations where they just have strangers drop different type of gems on them, different form of insight. You think this is your guardian angel. You think somebody sent Morpheus into your life to guide you to take the red pill. You're like, who are you? How you know I was doing this? How you know that's the information I need? Mystical shit happens like that with this type of placement, or Jupiter in the 11th house a lot of the time, Neptune in the 11th house, you know, the sun in the 11th house, Mercury. These people are going to access information from people that they don't have prior connections with. So you don't you take that with significance, all right? Because who sent you? That's the hope. Who sent you? Facts. But we talking about Aquarius. Not Aquarius. We talk about the 11th house. Talking about Pisces. These are two different entities that are dealing with connecting to the conscious collective. So you receive all of that. You value all of that. You take heed to all of that. Whatever you digest and get to receive, or how people gravitate to something that they see potential in you with. But this is the first time they hear you sing, first time they heard you rap, first time they seen you do this, that, and the third, right? But they may have some credentials or experience, Jupiter experience in what you're doing, and they're encouraging you to, continue crafting, You digest those moments and receive those moments, guys. All right, Taurus rising. So moving on, your creativity and potential spiritual rhetoric may be received well to the public, as you may come off very inspiring and connected, or you can also be perceived as delusional when networking if there's no tact and personal experience to back up your ideologies and beliefs. So this is kind of hovering back to Jupiter, your essence to be have somewhat of an aura of teaching, being knowledgeable when being in 11th house spaces. And when you look at how concentrated Taurus in the first house gets being a fixated earth sign, they usually do develop a lot of knowledge about what the hell they've been fixated in for a little minute. Don't take that long for Taurus to start developing their values in life. So when they start getting into that, they start building experience. So yeah, it's a good chance by the time Taurus 25, they've been in their craft maybe since a kid. So regardless of the spiritual rhetoric, anything you're knowledgeable about, you have to understand when you're manifesting experiences to spread that awareness some more. With what you've been fixated building and structuring, the values that you've been building upon something you've been building and structuring in your first house, Taurus rising. All right. Now, depending on what type of attention, ego that may have been developed through the process of you being seen knowledgeable, this is when we could get egotistical with our knowledge and wisdom or where we experience that. So you have to understand with that type of light and aura that you have, it comes with a responsibility where it can be seen that you're not as knowledgeable as something if there's no real tact in your approach and presentation to what the awareness you're giving out to the collective and no personal experience behind it, right? That will always be your conviction, your true personal experience behind things you've been building, structuring, and values you've been building in the first house. Different things you've been changes or transformations and ways you had to readjust your fixation in something based off your experiences through it. These things are very valuable and can create a lot of opportunities in the 11th house. But you always want to make sure you're staying in that healthy space with how you're giving that out, with mutable water, with how you're connecting that with the collective Taurus rising. Honor that responsibility. Okay. Many may perceive you as equipped to teach or help heal the collective in some type of capacity. It's likely you can come across a chapter in your life where you may interact or build some type of bond with people who may have experienced incarceration, some type of significant hospitalization, mental hospitals. This can be a supportive group, charity group, etc. So you could just find yourself coming across these type of, it could take place in career to a degree, but Taurus is a sign that Taurus dominance, don't get surprised when you see a lot of Taurus dominance in healthcare. You have to understand, look at their archetype. It has the moon and Venus in it. You don't think we need that energy in healthcare? So it's natural for that archetype to end up in healthcare in many different ways. But Pisces in 11th house, when we look at certain things with Pisces dealing with lostness, manifesting in physical locations through once again, everything develops through a frequency vibration. So if somebody ends up lost in some type of way, incarcerated in some type of way in a physical, that manifested through a frequency vibration. So all forms of lostness, Taurus risings can find themselves dealing with, these type of environments. People can end up being certain things in career. But the 11th house is a house you do have to consider with career a lot of times, even though there's a million ways to do everything when we start continue to understand and decode and dissect our charts and energies that be. But in natural opportunities we run into with everyday transits, like I understand life is hard, life can be beautiful and bittersweet, but God is not unfair. God's not unfair. I'll say that. All right, I'll leave that right there. But when we look at that type of influence, that's 11th house. You got Saturn there. It could be a house. Anything related to Saturn has things that could deal with stability over it, right? So that's something you may come across, especially Pisces already being in a charitable state. Taurus, combination of Taurus, Pisces makes a very giving energy. So that's what we got going on there. Shout out to all my Taurus risings in the building. All right. Once again, you may be an Aries or Gemini rising. It took me a long time to get that off the dome earlier. All right. But I hope y'all received this. Hope it brought some clarity as to what you're able to create. When we talk about potential energy, help you understand certain opportunities you may have ran into the past. And now you're going to have a different type of awareness when you run into potentially a repetitive cycle of the same opportunities, because that's just the energy that be in that area. If you guys want to dive deeper into the astral realm, with a good brother. Patreon services below. All right, guys. Until next time. Peace.